Members of Parliament from the Legalise Cannabis Party have today introduced bills in Victoria, New South Wales and Western Australia to legalise the personal use of cannabis by adults. Joining us with the details is Legalise Cannabis MP for New South Wales, Jeremy Buckingham. Jeremy, thanks for joining us. Now, can you take us through your proposal?
Yes, today's a historic day for the movement to legalise cannabis in Australia, in Western Australia, Victoria and New South Wales. We are putting forward bills to legalise the responsible adult use of cannabis. That would mean that an adult could be in possession of up to 50 grams, a household could grow up to 6 plants, that cannabis could be shared, and we could also trade in seeds. It's a small, modest, responsible reform that we're pushing in a coordinated way across Australia.
Jeremy, this has been modelled on the ACT. What's been the outcome there?
It is modelled on the ACT. Well, the sky hasn't fallen in, Narelda. What we've seen is a responsible, modest reform in the ACT that has reduced the burden on the criminal justice system. It stopped thousands of people unnecessarily going before the courts, and the sky hasn't fallen in. There's been no increases in psychosis, no increases in road accidents. It's a responsible reform, excuse me, that we want to mirror in Western Australia, Victoria and New South Wales.
With the cost of living crisis, a housing crisis, a health and aged care crisis, is this where we should be putting our attention?
Well, we need to make sure we're not wasting money in the criminal justice system. In Australia, we're wasting $1.5 billion per annum unnecessarily criminalising people for cannabis. And we need to look at alternative forms of revenue so that we can fund our health, mental health, schools. The illicit cannabis industry and trade in Australia is worth $8 billion per annum. We could be generating revenue from that helps build the infrastructure we need, provide the services we need. Other jurisdictions are doing that, Narelda, the United States, the European Union, Thailand, Canada are all regulating and taxing, generating revenue from cannabis rather than leaving the money in the hands of the black market.
What do you say to critics who point to cannabis as a gateway drug and the links between cannabis use and psychosis, especially in young people?
What we believe is that we need to regulate cannabis to make sure that it isn't becoming a gateway drug. That if you leave cannabis in the hands of criminals, they're far more likely to sell other drugs, more harmful drugs, especially to young people. We need to regulate it, make it safer, and make sure that we deal and educate people on the risks of inappropriate cannabis use. Our bill is called the Responsible Adult Use Bill because we believe that we need to protect children from cannabis use, but leaving it in the hands of criminals doesn't do that. Other jurisdictions are regulating responsibly. That's what we're talking about, to make sure we protect our community, generate revenue and educate on the harms of misuse of illicit substances.
Jeremy, how many people do you estimate use cannabis in Australia?
Estimates are that about 14% of the Australian population, adult population, use cannabis annually. What we want to do is to make sure that those people are not criminalised. Our bill makes the personal use and household cultivation of cannabis legal. There's no point in criminalising hundreds of thousands of Australians every year. See, in the last decade, 700,000 Australians have ended up being charged before the courts. For the 90% of those were for personal possession and personal use of cannabis. That's a waste of money. It's unnecessary to criminalise those people. That's what the Legalise Cannabis Party recognise, and that's what the people of Australia recognise, and that's why we're pushing our bill.
All right, Jeremy, thanks for joining us on Midday.
Thank you.